Hey everyone, it's Aaron Schechter from the Wet Shaver Review 365 Shaves and the new Reddit group Against the Grain. Coming to you today with my second video review of the day. Switching gears, I talked about aftershaves before and Ginger's Garden. I think very fittingly so, this second video I'm making today is about a soap that is way long overdue for me to be reviewing. And that soap in question is none other than Tiki Bar soaps, okay? Now, you'll even notice, and I could be wrong on this, these are probably even the older style containers, because on a new Tiki Bar soap that I just got, they're actually coming in metal tins now. So it just shows how long I've had these soaps. I've probably had this specific soap I'll be reviewing, which is Set Sail in the vegan formulation. I've had this probably now for, I want to say I got it during, I want to say it's a good 6-7 months I've had this. I've had this for quite some time, and I've put some usage under, under this soap's belt, and I have a really good feel for this soap now. And first and foremost, let's talk about who is Tiki Bar Soaps, okay? Tiki Bar Soaps is made probably, honestly, by the smartest person that I don't know, okay? I've spoken to her a few times on Facebook, and I'm probably not going to even say her name right, but her name is Amanda, and I'm going to assume it's pronounced Stoot, S-T-O-O-T. I believe this, so I believe it's going to be a long O sound. Stoot, Amanda Stoot. And it's made in Bessemer, Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. Now, Amanda, by trade, if I'm not mistaken, is actually a chemist. She's, and when I say chemist, I mean like chemistry, like went to school and has an IQ of like 160 probably. She is phenomenal with the mathematician. She is like way up here while I'm like not even in this video frame, as far as, sometimes she talks to me and it's kind of like I'm not keeping up really. So she's a very smart lady. She really knows what she's doing. So when she's formulating and making these soaps, she's looking at it from a chemistry standpoint. She's looking at it from a scientific point of view and from a very intellectual point of view. Now, I've learned throughout my life that can go one of two ways. It can either be an amazingly wonderful thing, or it can go horribly awry, because what happens is sometimes you lose some of that creativity, the artistry, the passion, the love, the soul, so to speak, of the art that you are going into. Luckily with Amanda, you didn't lose anything, okay? You didn't lose anything in what she was trying to express. She's also a very expressive person from the conversations I've had with her. So she's kind of like, in a lot of ways, I would, and trust me, I'm a married man. She's married, but she's kind of like the all-around package when it comes to like being a smart woman that is able to express herself artistically and really make a great product. Now, initially 6-7 months ago when I started using the Tiki Bar soaps, I used to say, and I used to hang my hat on that the slickness of the product, the slickness of, and they're all crops by the way, the slickness of, and I just added, by the way, another 4 ounces. That's why it looks so full, or else this would actually be pretty empty. I just added 4 ounces of Set Sail to this container. I used to say how slick it was. Now, I never really talked much about the lather or the scent or really all that much more about it. Other besides, it was really slick, and basically it reminded me of the scene from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where they put WD-40 on the bottom of that old metal sled, and you see like Chevy Chase going down the hill, with fire and sparks going across. That's how I kind of felt using this. Is like the slickness is phenomenal on it. Now, here's the one problem that I've learned over time. I've become a better shaver. That was part of the problem. So let's get into the review. I have a couple criteria I go by, and it took me literally 6 months, and I have a huge den, so I didn't use this every day. So it took 6 months of me using this, probably about a dozen times or more, to really learn how to use this soap properly. So I'm going to impart what I've learned to everyone here. Okay, so let's start off by talking about packaging. Okay, that's the first thing I look at. Great packaging, and I'll tell you why. It's plastic. It's non-reactive. When you add sodium or potassium hydroxide to a oil, when she does either vegan or tallow-based soaps, okay, it becomes technically a salt. Okay, so plastic is non-reactive to a salt, whereas certain metals can be reactive to a salt and actually corrode. So non-corrosive properties. It is a very, it's a flexible plastic. It's not a hard plastic like, let's say, Taylor Bond Street, GOF Trumpers, a slew of others, where if you drop it, you may crack it if you drop it from high enough. This is actually pretty pliable. I'm actually squeezing this, and I could feel the give in the plastic, where I'm actually pressing in on the plastic. So I feel pretty confident to say the packaging on this is pretty good. Now, the one thing I do not like about the packaging, and let me remind you, this may be old packaging, but I'm still going to review it as is I'm not crazy about the labels. I would really love to see these be a waterproof label, okay? As you could see, well, maybe you can't see, if you notice it's a little bit lighter here and it's darker. What happened was I originally had kept an unused puck on top of it, and the oils that were, and the moisture that was in the other puck seeped through into the label, and because of the fact that it's actually made from oils, it actually stained the top of my Set Sail label. So therefore, you know, it's not waterproof. You'll also notice she's part of the Handcrafted Soap Makers Guild. You'll notice that, and I'll try to leave it in frame so it focuses, that it actually kind of smeared. Now, that just tells me that the ink is not waterproof. When we're dealing with wet shaving, we're dealing with water. That's why they call it wet shaving. So, waterproof label would really enhance this a little bit, but there may be newer packaging, and I'm going to go on our website, and I'm going to actually check that out because it might be a moot point at this juncture. So, now, next, let's move on to the scent. The nice thing about Tiki Bar soaps is that she puts right on it, number one, that it's a vegan formula, and that she puts down the scent notes. She has down lavender, mint, rosemary, cedarwood, an herbal accord worthy of a journey to a distant land. I don't know, it sounds like a great start to a sci-fi book to me, which I actually happen to love sci-fi books. I'm actually reading a book called Tears of Requiem right now, a book about dragons and stuff, so kind of cool. Neat little name. Now, I will say this about this soap. It is one of the few soaps that the artist has listed the scents and that you should be smelling, and I could pick up on every single one of those scents without even a minimal amount of effort. And when I say minimal, I mean no effort whatsoever, and I'm picking up every single note that she has listed on this label. From lavender to mint to the rosemary to the cedarwood. The cedarwood, and she, by the way, she listed it in order of strength. That's the other really cool thing about this. Lavender jumps out at you. The mint really kind of is almost equal with it. The rosemary is a backbone, and the cedarwood is very mild, and it's a very, very mild scent, but it is in there and you can easily pick it out and distinguish it. So as far as scent goes, Set Sail and the vegan formula, top notch. This is actually my favorite of the Tiki Bar soaps. I also find it to be the most complex. I only own 3 Tiki Bar soaps, but I find this of the 3 I own to be the most complex. So let's move on. Let's talk about lather. I already started talking about that a little bit. As far as slickness goes, this stuff is like the WD-40 of shaving soaps. It is slick as snot, as the saying goes. So where I was making my big mistake was I wasn't getting this huge, you have to remember, I went from, when vegan formulas, I went from like Pedal Pushers Fancies to Synergy to like a few others, and I don't want to keep on name dropping other artisans. And then I went to Tiki, okay? Now, those other ones use different oils, okay? So they act in different ways. So my skill level using vegan soaps was limited, and I was trying to use it like I was using those other products. Big mistake. I don't want to call Tiki Bar soaps water hungry, because they're not really water hungry, but I really wasn't using enough water to fully develop that lather to where it was a voluptuous, very cushioning lather. It was a very, what I would call a Greek yogurt type of a consistency when I first started using Tiki Bar soaps. It was a very Greek yogurt consistency. It didn't dry out. It didn't have any problems with hanging up or dissipating. It definitely didn't dissipate, but it just wasn't like a creamy, voluptuous, cushioning lather. It was more of a flat Greek yogurt type of a lather. And I don't want to say I was disappointed, because the slickness made up a tenfold. And I was only using double-edged razors at the time. I wasn't using straight razors at the time. The slickness completely made up for any lack of cushion and any lack of anything else. Now, fast forward about a dozen usages. Now, as much as I love synthetic brushes, I found that Tiki Bar, in my opinion and my personal usage, benefits from using a little bit stiffer of a brush. You want to use at least a badger brush, like a pure badger brush or a silver tip or a boar brush, something that's going to load a little bit heavier, okay? And then what I do is I add water as necessary until I reach that consistency that I want. It does take a little bit more water than others, but that's okay. It is what it is. And once you've added enough of that water, you're going to come up with that really thick, cushiony, voluptuous, your brush is going to have a full loaded brush of Tiki Bar soap lather that you're going to have more than enough to do 3, 4, 5, 6 passes. You just have to get your water ratios down. That was user error. That was on me, not on the soap itself. Okay, so that's your lather right there. Now let's move over. We talked about packaging, we talked about scent, we talked about lather. Now let's talk about overall slickness and glide. Do I really need to go over that? I think I just really summed it up. I called it the WD-40 of shaving soaps. Let me put it to you this way. Slickness and glide means more to me now than ever, now that I majorly use straight razors. Okay? It's one thing to get a hang up with a double-edged razor or a single-edged razor. That stinks enough as it is. For the love of God, if you ever get hung up because you have a bad lather with a straight razor, you're talking bloodletting. Bloodletting of a level you do not want to have to deal with. So slickness and being able to have that razor easily glide against your face is so important to have great glide. This soap right here, and all the Tiki Bar soaps that I've used, has phenomenal. And I'm going to post, my actual ratings, but I will give you the rating right now. And this is, I call this a 10 as far as slickness and glide. I'll even go as far as to even on the video tell you this is about a 10. This is a 10 for slickness and glide. I have not found ever a soap, commercial or artisan wise, that has more slickness or glide than Tiki Bar soaps. I'm not sure what she's using or what she's doing to make them so slick, but it's very beneficial, especially for us guys that use straight razors. I want to thank you, Amanda, for that, because it really helps us a lot. So on that note, that is my review of Tiki Bar soaps Set Sail in the vegan formulation by Miss Amanda Stote. I hope I pronounced that last name correctly. There will be 2 more reviews on Tiki Bar soaps that will hopefully be a little bit shorter than this one, but hopefully as thorough and informative. I will also be doing the Captain in the tallow formulation. That sounded odd. And I will also be doing a review on the Grand Cru in the vegan formulation. So, that being said, I am Aaron Schechter from the Wet Shave Review on Facebook, 365shaves.com, and Against the Grain on the Reddit group. Okay? God bless, have a great day, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.